Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK EU podcast and YouTube channel. And today we are joined by Asse. Asse, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me, Jessica Kate.
Yes, my absolute pleasure. Now, I'm particularly interested in this question. We all know why we wanted a spiritual guide. And in particular, you come from the tech world. I mean, I'm not very techy, but you come from that world. So why did you want to have a spiritual guide? I mean, is it even useful in that arena, or give me some insights?
Yeah, great question. When thinking back to the times, then I didn't even know that I would need a spiritual guide, because now I understand how necessary it is and why. But back then, probably because I didn't have enough awareness about the spirituality in general. And I tried out different stuff here and there, and I didn't even had in my awareness that there is a systematic path available, and the guide to the path, and path of progression, all those things. It wasn't in my awareness, but but I remember I always have had some kind of desire to look up someone who is done more work than I have done, and who is like master in their own field, and to study from them. And then I met with Mystery School, and during the experience, I realized that there is actually a working path and system and all that. And then I slowly realized how necessary and why the spiritual guide is needed. Today, I don't imagine that I don't have the spiritual guide.
So how is a spiritual guide useful in the everyday world? What have you found for yourself? Is there anything like kind of examples or anything that you can recall thinking, this has really helped me to achieve this or to do this, or, whereas, maybe because some people might say, oh, we could do that with a therapist, or we could do that with a friend or a family member, or these types of things. What would the difference be, perhaps?
I believe that to be most efficient process of the self-development, we will need two parts. We will need one who we can teach, either children or students or someone we can be accountable and responsible of. And then we need the other part as well, who is master either the business or relationships, or somewhere, or the spiritual guide somewhere in a different domain, who is further along for myself, and who is master in the expert in the field, and for who I can study from, and who could be the role model, for example. And especially important, I think, that the spiritual guide, the guide in general, is really crucial, especially in the spiritual domain, because there is so much out there, and spirituality, I think, needs structure and order, and the guide helps that to bring on the table. And obviously, if we have a path, then of course the path itself needs a guide as well, and the practical sense. the guide, I mean, we can't always notice the weak points what we have, or the potential what we have closed in our mind, or we don't notice, or we can't be aware always the shadows what we are carrying with us, and the potential, and all those pieces. So that is the place where the guide came in and shows our weak spots, our potential, our shadows, and that's the part of the process of the spiritual development as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting because what I'm hearing from you is that you valued the professionalism and the structure, and in that process, because I think some people might have an idea that, like you were saying, spiritual, you just do whatever you want whenever you want, and you kind of just here, there, and everywhere. But actually, true light has order, and it has a structure, and it has a way, a path. What drew you? What qualities drew you to your spiritual guide? What qualities should one be looking for in a spiritual guide? Because there are so many choices, aren't there, out there?
Yes. I think, yeah, of course, the professionalism, what you mentioned, has to be there, and expertise in that specific field or domain, and of course, the focus to the service and focus to work in that way, doing service in that way that their students can develop further than the guide itself. I think, yeah, this is really a really important aspect of the guide work too. And when the guide work is successful when his students are passing their from the breath, yeah, passing the guides.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting, isn't it? I mean, I know for myself that I'm always cheering on from the sidelines, anybody that that I am guiding, and I am amazed at how aware and how ahead they already are when and I can see, wow, cheering them on. So yeah, so I do get that. A guide would have to be 100% behind that individual and not holding them back in any way, or not, it's not about that. It's helping them grow. So, with that structure and what have you. So I definitely, can see that.
And of course, yeah, the inspiration has to be there, and he has to be a leading example and a role model. And yeah, those are important aspects as well. That the leading example, basically.
Thank you. Well, our time has whizzed by. We're just having a short interview, I know, but it's really interesting to hear, because I know, with your background in that technical and business world, that actually, yes, in the spiritual world, we have a structure and we do things in a certain way. And so if people wanted to get in touch with, oh, yes, please go on.
Yeah, I would say even the more I study it, the more I understand how even more important the structure is in the spiritual part than any other field what we are doing.
Yeah, really, it really does, the true order of things, as they say. That's, if people want to get in touch with you, Asse, what's your website?
My website is assesauga.com, my first name, second name.com.
Look at this. Look at me. Look at that displayed Beautiful. Up there. I know, it's so clever. So if you want to get in touch with Asse, then you can check out his website, and he will be able to help you. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for the invitation and opportunity to share.
My pleasure. And thank you everyone for tuning in.